Hi, everyone. Thank you
Hello.
so much for being here. As you can see, Marcus is back to sort of keep us up to date on what's going on in Georgia. I tend to view Georgia sort of as like a bellwether. Um, so he's back by viewer request, actually. Not that I wouldn't have thought about it, but she just beat me to it, right? So a couple of things, right? We're going to take a look at Kemp and what he's doing. We're going to take a look at um, the sort of plans that Kemp had about factories and the environment and all of that. We're going to see if we can decipher what Republicans are reacting to as far as Trump goes. And the politicians are one thing, but the people, how are they responding? If you have any insight on that, and let's just all take a moment and think about the people at is it Fort
Fort
Stewart?
Stewart,
Yeah.
which is about
Apparent.
20 miles from where I am.
Yeah. So that's like a problem. So for friends and family, people themselves, let's all send them some light. Apparently the shooter is he's contained. I'm not sure if
Yes.
he's alive or not, but he's contained. Alrighty. So Marcus. You know, the nice thing about Marcus literally is I can just say go, and he just tells me everything I need to know. It's lovely, lovely because I just get to sit back and absorb everything he's saying. So, Marcus, go.
Yes. Well, right now, just like with the rest of the country, it's everyone in Georgia is just kind of watching the 40 car pile up happen, and not even in slow motion. It's actually happening pretty fast. I mean, it's just mind-boggling what's happening at every level of government. It's not the only government in my life that is somewhat functional is the city government, which is still in the hands of Democrats. But
Wow.
a city government can only do so much when the rest of it is going to hell in a handbasket. So it is what it is. Um, in terms of where Georgia is politically, uh, there's still a lot of in terms of 2026. There's still a lot of unknowns out there. There is some new Brian Kemp news that's important, and there's some new Jeff Duncan news as of today that just broke like an hour ago.
Okay.
And Jeff Duncan is a former lieutenant governor. So, but let's start with Brian Kemp. That's probably a lot of
Just hold 1 second. Just for my viewers before they start saying that didn't happen yesterday. We are recording this on Wednesday. You are going to see this video on Monday. Okay, so um, don't be confused. We're just getting ahead of the
right. So this is yeah,
wave.
we're
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I
this is
apologize, but I
August 6th.
wanted them to know. Okay.
Yes. So anyway, so to give you a sense of what's going on with Brian Kemp, I think I think smart money is that Brian Kemp's going to try to run for president. I think that I mean there's nothing that he is saying or doing that implies that he won't. I think the consensus was he was either going to run for the Senate or he was going to run for president. And him not running for Senate pretty much means he's going to try to run for president. Um, it's that may not from his selfish political perspective, that may not be a bad thing to do, uh, simply because there's a possibility that he would get defeated in a Georgia primary running for the Senate. If Because you could almost certainly assume that Donald Trump would have endorsed someone other than Brian Kemp. and whether or not Brian Kemp could withstand that endorsement, especially given the fact that at the moment there are a lot of people in my part of the state who aren't particularly happy with Brian Kemp at the moment. And this was a strong Brian Kemp area. So from that perspective, Brian Kemp may not be as strong in a Republican primary as he otherwise would be in Georgia, but in a general election, it probably was doubtful that Ossoff could defeat Brian Kemp in a general election. I think that he is the only one that the polls indicated would defeat Ossoff in a general election. All the Republican candidates that are in view at the moment are well behind Ossoff, with Marjorie Taylor Greene being dead last. So, so and then, which is part of the reason why she has removed her name from that race completely. So she has removed her name from that race, and she has removed her name from contention for governor as well. And
Hey, that's like really good news, just so nobody has to put up with her nonsense. It'd be like a
right,
breath
well,
of fresh air, right? I mean, this is a woman, I'm sorry, but she takes stupid to a whole new level.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure there are a number of potential Democratic candidates out there who would have salivated at the idea of her being the Republican opponent.
Yeah.
But at the same time, having experienced Trump, what if she won? so there's that.
Terrifying. Yeah, terrifying.
And given recent elections, maybe we shouldn't play Russian roulette with that particular particular possibility.
Okay.
She's a whole other question altogether, and we'll talk about her if we have time, because I have some questions about her. Maybe your pendulum or something to have some insights, because what she does doing at the moment just puzzles the heck out of me. But I don't know, when you're insane, and I think she's truly insane. But so anyway, getting back to Brian Kemp, what he has done, a guy by the name of Ted, I think it's Ted, Derek Dooley. I'd never heard of him until 2 weeks ago. But he was and that I've never heard him. It tells you that I am the rare animal in Georgia that I am not a college football fan, when it was almost non-existent in the state of Georgia. But I'm not. I'm not a sports person at all. But Derek Dooley was the college football coach at Tennessee, and is retired from that. Important for the state of Georgia is that his father, Vince Dooley, was the coach for the University of Georgia back when I was a kid, and he was the football coach that took the state of University of Georgia to a national championship year after year after year when Herschel Walker was playing football. So this, in some ways, this is sort of like, football Herschel Walker, but in reverse. This time we have a person who is football royalty in terms of family connections, deep family connections with the University of Georgia. Brian Kemp is a University of Georgia alumni, big supporter of the University of Georgia. He is from Athens, and so I would imagine he probably knows the Dooley family personally. And there is no question at all that um, that Brian Kemp has handpicked this person to run on his behalf and to represent the Kemp political machine. And the Trump people, particularly Donald Trump himself and his political um, people in the White House, have already come out swinging, basically saying that that Trump considers this as a personal affront, and that Trump will make sure that this guy is buried politically. So the war is on, and news outlets around here are referring to this as a proxy war between Brian Kemp and Donald Trump. Now, as far as other candidates that are in the bidding that for that particular office that I know about so far, of course, the good news is that John Ossoff is ahead of all of them, but immediate polls show that this new guy, Derek Dooley, comes closer than any of the other candidates. And he's still, as far as his political views, the only thing we know about him is that there is no record of him being a MAGA Trumpster type. That's the only thing we know about him. And so other than and that he's a football coach and part of an old Georgia football family. So other people running that we know about so far. One person that I've met personally is Buddy Carter, Representative Buddy Carter. He is the U.S. Congressman from the first district, Georgia first district, which is basically Savannah and adjacent counties. And I used to actually have some respect for Buddy Carter. He was actually pretty good when it came to housing stuff, and then in the last couple of years, he just, I guess he decided he wanted to run for Senate and that he needed a Trump endorsement, and so he's come to the front of the line in the crazy train. So his claim to fame that gave him national notoriety in the last year or so is that the very week that I went to Washington, D.C. In February for the Habitat's national advocacy event, Buddy Carter introduced to the House of Representatives a bill that would rename Greenland red, white, and blue land. Which, okay, we're supposed to, I'm supposed to be in a meeting, in me and a couple of other people, and talk about housing. And how do you talk about housing when the guy has just proposed something so stupid?
Yeah, is that going to be like the Gulf of USA or the Gulf of America or whatever it is? They're just going to randomly rename something?
As if the United States has a say in renaming the territory of another country. It's like, and never mind the fact that um, Greenland's been Greenland, and for lots of local reasons for over 1,000 years. So. And we're just going to rename it red, white, and blue land. And well, anyhow, the levels of stupidity of it just
Definitely the
That's
arrogance runs rapid. Like the arrogance of Republicans is just gone so far over the top.
uh, uh, yeah, it's inexplicable. And then so now there's another guy by the name of Rick McCormick, who's also another Republican representative. I don't know a whole lot about him. I do know that all these are the guys who are competing for Trump's endorsement. So I'm sure that over the next few months, they're going to try to outdo each other with just how insane they can be, unless this Epstein stuff takes gets to a place where they decide they're going to run away from.
What's the sort of feeling about the whole Epstein stuff in your kind of neck of the woods?
No one talks about it locally. I haven't had a single conversation with anybody about it locally,
Wow, that's
except
surprising.
for among Democrats. But I've never heard. I don't know. None of the Republicans. Now, of course, most Republicans around here know that I'm on the other side of the aisle, so maybe they just choose not to talk about it with me.
Yeah.
But knowing that I'm going to have fun if they do. But no, it's not it's not it's not even coming up on my Facebook feed for local people that I follow, and it's just not a conversation. I don't think it's a conversation that any active Republican locally wants to have, and particularly none that are politically involved with anything. I mean, they're all kind of doing the same thing that Vance is doing. They're trying to, you know, um, trying to stay far enough away from it so that one, they don't make Trump mad at them, but at the other side of it, they don't want to be taken out by the fallout
Yeah.
should it take Trump down. Um, the The most concerning one on this list, and I actually think this guy would be worse than Buddy Carter, would be Mike Collins. And Mike Collins is probably the one that would be the uh, one that Trump will endorse, I would imagine. Mike Collins was in the House of Representatives, gave up his seat so that he could run for the Senate. um, I forget, there was a Senator Loeffler, I forget what her first name was. It was a senator that had replaced a senator who had passed away, and or was about to pass away, and he did. And Brian Kemp had appointed her, and she was so Mike Collins ran against him. But before he did that, he was like in the House of Representatives, he was like the oh Matt Gaetz. He was like the Georgia equivalent to Matt Gaetz. He was kind of like his best buddy, and that was right before anyone knew about Marjorie Taylor Greene. So, so, so we actually got some. Yeah, go ahead.
What's the status of Democrats looking, because you've got Osloff and
Also,
Warnock? Yeah.
Warnock.
Um, they're running again.
Yeah.
Does it
Well,
look like
not
they
Warnock.
have
Warnock
support?
doesn't have to run for another 4 years.
Oh, okay, good. So it's just Osloff.
It's just Ossoff, yeah. Yeah. I mean, Ossoff's ahead. He's doing well. I mean, a lot of moderate Republicans really like him because he's really good at bringing money to Georgia. He's pro business in the areas where he needs to be. He's both him and Warnock have been far more attentive at bringing pork to Georgia than the two Republican senators that had preceded them. So I think there are quite a few Republicans who are quietly happy to keep them. They would go with Brian Kemp if Brian Kemp were to run against either one of them, I'm sure. But without Brian Kemp, I think, I mean, everything depends on what happens to Trump and how popular he is at the moment that it all happens. But of course, if there's some sort of scandal comes out around Ossoff, which I doubt will, but you never know. Or how badly the Republicans figure out how to cheat. That's another unknown in the state of Georgia, and that's a real possibility. I think in terms of the where the Democrats are interesting is in the governor's race, because Brian Kemp is term limited; he can't run, and the Republicans that are running for him are Burt Jones, who is the lieutenant governor, and Burt Jones is a Christian nationalist,
Got it.
MAGA crazy person.
Yeah.
And but he got elected lieutenant governor. And then the other person running for is Attorney General Chris Carr, which I don't really know a whole lot about. So those are the two Republicans that are kind of. I thought sure Raffensperger was going to run, but I haven't heard much about him. Maybe he may not be term limited. He may be able to continue on in his position he has.
Who's running on the Dem ticket?
Yeah, I was just about to get to that.
Thanks.
That's the people who are running at the moment officially are Keisha Lance Bottoms, who is a former mayor of Atlanta, and then she was like the one of the public relations people for the Biden administration in his administration. I mean, she was a pretty good mayor. I don't know a whole lot about her. But I mean, she was good. She was good for business. I think she was, okay when it came to things like crime and stuff like that. I mean, all the things that go to running a major city, she was pretty good. I doubt she's going to be a real, just based on what I know about her tenure in Atlanta, I doubt she's going to be like a real left, on the left wing of the Democratic Party. She's probably going to be pretty middle of the road.
So if she's more center,
Yeah, I would think
is it
so.
possible that she can pull Republicans?
Well, I mean, we got another the thing that happened today is makes that an interesting question. But there are two other sort of classic Democrats running. One's Derek Jackson, and another is Jason Estevez. I don't know a whole lot about either one of them. One of the challenges with Democrats, when you're in my part of the state, the ones that tend to have a chance at state level offices is that they tend to be from Atlanta. So I don't usually, here in Southeast Georgia, you don't hear about them until they do something like this and run for governor. So
what happened today? What just happened?
Yeah, what happened today? What happened today is Jeff Duncan, who was the former lieutenant governor, the one who spoke at the Democratic convention, officially changed his party affiliation to Democratic Party today, and has kind of for the last month or so has been kind of putting out feelers about the possibility of running for governor as a Democrat.
Okay.
So now I
Okay, and that really wonderful lady whose name absolutely escapes me, who ran against Kemp last year,
Stacey
is she,
Abrams,
thank you, is she showing any indication that she's going to run for that? Or I know that she has her own organization. Is
right?
she sort of entrenched in that? Like, what's going on with her? Do you know?
I do know that the Georgia Democrat that she would probably like to run, but the Georgia Democratic Party is strongly advising her not to. That
Okay.
they would prefer that she not.
Okay.
Uh, and there's a few reasons for that. Uh, couple of the a couple of the political action organizations that she started is in legal trouble for possible financial misconduct. That's one issue. Another issue is that uh, she is still badly in debt from the last time she ran. And so if, trying to raise money for a new campaign, a whole
Yeah.
bunch of the money that gets donated would have to go into retiring the debt before you can start actually building a war chest for the next campaign. Um, so they're not, and then of course she had personal debt in her past, and so this situation kind of raises questions about her own ability to handle money and stuff like that. So the Democrats are basically saying, no, you've had two cracks at it. Let's give someone else a chance.
Yeah. Okay, let's just shift a little bit. What is going on with, or not going on, with some of the initiatives that Kemp was talking about, the building of factories, the green energy? Is that
Right.
going ahead? Has it stalled? What do we know
Well, I
about
mean,
that?
the Hyundai plant here, what I can tell you is that the Hyundai plant here is going forward. Hyundai has committed to sort of allowing the North American affiliate to be more or less independent of the mothership, and so that Hyundai cars can be built. That's one of the reasons why they decided to put the battery factory in Georgia, which is in basically the same place where the other one, and so that they will not be impacted by American tariffs, although they might, if they try to sell the cars in other parts of the world, it might be tariffed in response to American tariffs.
Yeah.
Um, the biggest issue with the situation right now around here in terms of growth is is all of the growth in this part of Georgia is a is an outgrowth of the port of Savannah becoming the largest seaport in North America. So and the tariffs are just that hits that golden, you know in terms of goose that lays the golden eggs,
Yeah.
that one is kind of not going to be what it should be until this whole business of these tariffs, Trump has to go away before. I mean, I think the attitude of most people is that we'll wait him out and then we'll go back to normal. But anyway, but right now it's not normal, and so that in terms of the region, that's probably not a bad thing. The growth was happening so hot and heavy that to have 4 years to kind of pause and allow the county governments to catch up with infrastructure is a good thing. The only problem is the federal government has shut down all the money for infrastructure. So, so there's that. and and Brian Kemp is, as best as anyone can tell, is more interested in federal issues at the moment than he is in state issues. And he did, one of the things is one of the reasons why he's not especially popular, right now, uh, everybody's kind of mad at him. The people who don't want all this growth, the sort of the MAGA, especially sort of the MAGA types, they're mad at him because he invited in all this growth. And then, a lot of the more business Republicans are mad at him is because he brought in all this growth and then left all the counties holding an empty bag, made all these big promises about money for infrastructure and housing and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then when it came time to do it, because he had shifted his focus to federal stuff, which in the federal level, the Republicans are against infrastructure. So now all of a sudden he's against infrastructure. And so he just left all these counties just we got all these people coming and we don't, I mean, we're about to become a huge metropolitan area and we still have a rural infrastructure. And so it's, a lot of people are annoyed with Brian Kemp around here over that. So,
Okay.
Tell
me about Marjorie Taylor Greene. What's going on there?
What's going on there? Okay, so my big disclaimer about Marjorie Taylor Greene is anything I say about her, because what I said about Democrats in Atlanta goes double for her. She is from a district that's on the extreme northwest corner of Georgia, and I'm on almost the extreme southeast corner of Georgia. So you can't get further away from Bullitt County than Marjorie Taylor Greene's district and still be in the state of Georgia. So what I know about her is what I know from national news. But I know she's not running for anything at the state level. And I know that, just like 2 days ago, yesterday, 2 days ago, she announced that she was thinking about leaving the Republican Party because they're because of the war with Israel and the genocide that's happening there and all this. She's been attacking Trump because of all this Epstein stuff, and she's basically saying the Republicans are as bad as everybody else, and she's mad at them, and she's thinking about. So I don't know if she's talking about going independent. That raises now what I'm wondering if because with her, is that crazy? Is that real conviction? Or does she know that that someone with Trump's support is planning to try to primary her? And I don't know. That was one of the things that you might, maybe you're either through your cards or through your pendulum, you might have some insight in that, because I don't know. I don't. I haven't heard anything, but that would be an interesting thing to know. Is she
Let's just ask my pendulum.
because she thinks someone's going to primary her and it has Trump's support?
Pendulum flew out of my hand. Let's ask.
Yep.
Let's start with the most obvious. Okay. Is Marjorie Taylor Greene choosing to not run again because she feels strongly,
well, she might,
or has been strongly told she will be primaried and lose?
Well,
is that,
she's going to run again, but she's threatening to leave the Republican Party.
Yeah, I got that. I want to find out though what her motivation is first.
Okay.
So, is she concerned about being primaried? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Is she getting pressure or heat from her own constituent? And that's a yes. Is she serious about leaving the Republican Party? No. Is she using it as a strategy? And that's a big far-fetched. She actually has strategies, but let's go with it. Is she using it as a strategy to be able to attack Trump, attack other Republicans, trying to look at, just answer that. Okay, yes. Is this an attempt to sort of clean up her image? Yeah, there we have it.
Yep. Now here's another question. Is she worried about a challenge from a MAGA person, or is she worried about a challenge from a Kemp person?
Ooh. Oh, hey. Is Marjorie Taylor Greene more concerned about being primaried by a MAGA person than a Kemp person? And I'll reverse it. Okay, so it looks like she's got some concerns about going up against a MAGA candidate. And is she concerned particularly about having to face a Kemp challenger? Not so much. Not so much. Um, I think on some level, she recognizes that there's always a chance somebody crazier than her.
Or someone more of a sick, because she isn't as reliable a vote for Trump as say a Mike Collins was.
Yeah.
If she had the one little thing that I will little nod I will give to Marjorie Taylor Greene is that she seems to have a core to her. That there's some things that she really, they may be crazy but there's some things she actually believes, and she won't compromise those principles. That's my sense.
You know, when I look at her energy, what she is like an exhibitionist, right? She will just do whatever she needs to do to keep the focus on her, for her to keep on getting attention. And I think you're right. I think on some level, she has those red lines. Um, but she has created so much just foolishness and stupidity with the antics, that she really has lost all credibility, except perhaps with people in her district.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm wondering if they're getting tired of it.
I suspect they are. I mean, if she has no confidence that she can win in her district, um, she's obviously getting messaging from somewhere.
From somewhere, somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was what I was wondering. I mean, it's so far away. I don't have really access to those people, so it's not like you can go around
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
ask easily.
Of course.
One thing that I want to put on the radar screens of people out there, at least in Georgia, there are going to be a ton of local elections in November. We don't, people often think about, well, it's an odd year. You don't have to have, you don't have elections, and people tend to ignore the local ones. And I want to point out is it's the local ones that often decide whether or not your community is safe, whether or not your community is a place that
Yep.
if you're a Democrat, are you going to be harassed or not? Are the police going to be corrupt or not? And like in Georgia, at least, and I don't know, I mean, every state's different, but in Georgia, the city elections are mostly on odd years. And the reason they are is because municipal districts, most municipal districts are smaller than precincts. And so if you had them at the same time as a state or federal election, uh, people would have to go to multiple uh, voting
Yeah.
places to vote. And so to avoid that, they have the city election separately. So, if you are an American citizen, even though this is not an election year, especially if you live in a city or a town, a municipality, you need to check and see if you have a local election coming up and start paying attention to those candidates. One of the beautiful things about local government, especially city government, is that uh, you know, even if you're in a big city like Atlanta or New York, usually your council level elections, those people are local enough that it is possible for you to get to know them, or at least get to know somebody who knows them, so
Yeah.
you get the real story of what they're like. And a lot of times people slide into local positions who should not be there simply because we ignore it, and it's not going to be on the national news. If you want to
Yeah.
find out what a local person's like, you gotta actually dig and find out.
Okay. Can we assume that Trump has not approached Kemp and asked him to gerrymander more districts so he gets more people in the House? Can we assume that Kemp would be like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that for you"?
It's hard to know. I don't. Here's at the moment maybe not, um, because Kemp. My hunch is it's not so much that Kemp thinks he's going to get elected in 2028, because Republicans usually, they're different from Democrats. Usually the person who gets the nomination, it's on the second time around, not the first time around. And my guess is that Kemp is operating under the thought that he will run as the person who never bent the knee, and he will try to run as, okay, we're done with that, let's do something else.
Yeah.
And so my guess is that he is not going to go out of his way to make anything easier for Donald Trump. But he's also not going to say anything either. He's just going to quietly sit there and sit on his knees and not do anything. That's that's my hunch.
Okay. All right. That was a whole lot of really interesting information. Is there anything on your radar that you just want to throw out for the viewers, or do we kind of feel like we've wrapped it up? Any little
I
tidbit?
I mean, I've spoken about, most of the objective stuff that I know about that's going on around here.
Yeah.
For those of you who feel like sitting, love and light and all that, the our county government under the new leadership is really dysfunctional.
Yeah.
A lot of the employees of the county, particularly the the directors of departments and stuff like that. A lot of them have quit, and so the county is really kind of in dire straits, and from just a functionality perspective.
Was Georgia hit? I just don't know. Was Georgia hit particularly hard with all the Doge cuts?
Well, I mean, everybody was hit hard by the Doge cuts.
Yeah.
I, it's hard to really get a sense of it. I mean, this area is growing so fast. So yes, the economy has slowed down, but what that means here is that it's just not as growing as fast as it was, but it's still growing. So so we're in a slowdown, but it's not even remotely a recession. It's and like one of the big economic drivers here locally in Statesboro and Bullitt County is Georgia Southern University, and this freshman class is the biggest one ever. So that will bring a bunch of money to the community next week.
Yeah.
And so, and Hyundai's building cars and they're ramping up
Yeah.
and the Bullitt County Board of Commissioners, I left because it went so long last night that I just didn't feel like sitting and listening to them any longer. But one of the things that they were reviewing was zoning application for yet another manufacturing plant. So,
Yeah.
uh, I mean, the growth is still happening. The county is actively trying to push it away, and the city is actively trying to draw it in. So it's they're kind of working at cross purposes with one another, but it is what it is. But right now, and the other thing that has happened now, where a big cut has happened is the Bullitt County School Board first got $6 million cut from it this year by the state of Georgia because Bullitt County went into a different bracket in terms of wealth. So the amount of subsidies that the state provides just went down by $6 million, and then on top of it, about $2 or $3 million was lost from the federal government through the big ugly bill.
Yeah.
And so as a result, the county, the Board of Education, which has its own taxing authority here, is having to increase the property tax millage rate by 3 points. So that's spectacularly unpopular, especially when property taxes have gone up 41% a year for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, the portion of the sales tax that's for education comes up for a vote this year. And then there's another new possibility of a sales tax that's coming up to vote. So that this local November election, there's going to be a lot of controversial tax stuff on the ballot. But I mean, if the county doesn't vote for this stuff, the wheels will fall off our school system. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. But this is and this is what I'm saying. If you're all this stuff that's coming down the federal government, it is coming down like a collapsing building on your city, county, and school boards.
Yeah.
And so you need to be paying attention to those because when the federal government isn't working, these are the people who are going to have to try to mess with it. And you don't want you definitely don't want the crazy people in that room dealing with those issues. You want adults who are going to try to do the best they can with very little.
All right. Marcus, I cannot thank you enough. You are always so informative. You explain things in a clear and crisp way that we can all absorb and understand, particularly those of us who are nowhere near Georgia and don't really understand, the culture and the behaviors, et cetera. You make it very clear for us. And as I said, I just feel, I don't know why, but I just always sort of turn to Georgia to see what the hell's going on at a microcosm, so it can tell me what's going on, in a bigger
Yeah.
way. So
And another,
thank you.
and another big thing about Georgia, which could, we're in hurricane season, and they're saying that this is going to be the worst one ever. There's a tropical storm off the Atlantic coast right now. I didn't even know about it. I just knew that it was unseasonably cold this year. And when they passed by on the east of us, they, the way that spin is, they draws down the cold weather.
And you
And
guys got hit really hard last year.
oh, by three in a row.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I mean, well, we got hit by two, and then Florida got hit by one. But we got hit. We got nailed. The first one um, flooded the southern half of the state, and then the second one, blew down. Um, just of course, then went up to Tennessee and killed a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
So, and then the state's still recovering for all that stuff. And of course, as you are probably hearing on federal news, is that, FEMA help is awfully goosey right now. So, because of our current president. So these are challenges that the state's facing even as we speak.
All right. Well, listen, you stay safe in your neck of the woods. And again, thank you so, so very, very much. For everybody else, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have enjoyed this. I'm going to be doing a video on Wednesday that's a little bit, it's going to be a sort of a channeled message. Somebody wanted to know exactly what the jobs were that light workers can do or could be doing or can do. So I'm going to do a trance or a deep channeling on that on Wednesday. And then, of course, we'll see you all on Friday for Pendulum Friday. Put your questions in the comment section below. And until then, take care and be well. Marcus, thank you so much. Bye for now.
Yes.